What had started as a minor colonial dispute in the backwoods of North America had spread across the globe to Europe, the East Indies, and the Caribbean.
"How's the captain going ashore?"
said foretopman Harry Squire, tipping back his straw hat as the captain's barge eased from the stern. Captain O'Brien sat erect in the stern, beside a smart young midshipman.
"I don't trust these Frenchies."
Daniel Tate was a native Jamaican, a free black man who had joined Temple when the warship berthed at Kingston earlier that year.
"They are too friendly with the Spanish for me."
He shook his head.
"I hope the captain is safe."
Squire nodded at the ranked cannon on Temple's main deck, with the gun crews standing ready.
"The captain's under a flag of truce to negotiate an exchange of prisoners. Not even the Frenchies will break a truce."
"I don't trust the Frenchies,"
Tate repeated.
"La Touche, the governor of Martinico, is a gentleman,"
Squire insisted.
"He'll keep his word."
Both men wore the ubiquitous clothes of the British seamen, the white cotton shirt with horizontal colored stripes, red in Squire's case, blue in Tate's, a dark blue neckerchief, and white canvas trousers. While Tate wore low shoes, purser's crabs, Squire was barefoot, and both had seamen's knives attached to their belts.
"Ship ahoy!"
The hail came from aloft where a lookout was permanently on watch.
"Where away?"
The lieutenant of the watch bellowed.
"Just breaking the horizon to the west, sir,"
the lookout replied.
"2 vessels. One is Bienfaisant, and I don't know the other."
Grabbing the telescope from its bracket on the mizzenmast, the lieutenant scrambled up the ratlins to join the lookout. Perched 80 dizzying feet above the deck, he extended the telescope and focused on the distant sails.
"That's Bienfaisant, right enough,"
the lieutenant said.
"I think she's captured a French prize. The lucky bugger."
"Is that lucky?" Tate was not yet fully cognizant of the ways of the Royal Navy.
"Yes, Tatey,"
Squire said.
"If you capture a ship, it can be sold, and the captain and crew get a share of the profit, after the admiral takes his whack."
"Lucky bugger,"
Tate agreed. They watched as HMS Bienfaisant escorted in her prize, a wave-battered sloop with patched sails and a deck packed with artillery. At her stern, the Union flag hung above the white cross on blue ensign of France, a sure sign she was a prize of war.
"She's a privateer, or I'm a Dutchman, although she wears a merchantman's flag,"
Squire said.
"She carries too many guns for an honest merchantman."
Tate studied the captured vessel with calm eyes.
"In Jamaica, we call the privateers freebooters," he said, "or pirates."
"You won't be far wrong, Tatey."
Squire produced a wad of tobacco, bit off a chunk, and handed the rest to Tate.
"Pirates and privateers are much the same in these waters."
Both men knew that privateers were privately owned vessels, with an official license that empowered them to attack the enemy shipping. Fighting for profit, more than patriotism, privateers often crossed the border into piracy, attacking even neutral vessels. Some had earned an unenviable reputation for violence and cruelty. As Tate and Squire watched, an eager lieutenant on the prize ship ushered 6 prisoners onto a yawl. Grinning Royal Navy seamen shoved them into the center of the boat and manned the oars. Within a minute, the yawl was powering towards Temple, with the prisoners scowling at the British warship.
"Here come the first of the Frenchies,"
Squire said.
"All hands!"
the first lieutenant of Temple roared, and Squire and Tate joined the others in mustering on the main deck. In response to bellowed orders, a file of Marines waited to escort the prisoners below decks until they could be exchanged for British seamen held by the French. Squire nodded at one of the Frenchmen, a tall, handsome man in an ornate coat.
"A golden guinea to an Irish sixpence, that's the captain."
Tate looked and stepped back.
"That's a bad man,"
he said. shaking his head.